Living in squalor. What does that mean? Exactly what it says in the title, really. And what got me there? Alcohol. Pints of lager, another beer. Not spirits, not wine, not drugs. Just alcohol. Because alcohol is a drug. I was in my 20s when I went to London and I joined the police down there. Did pretty well. Was married quite young. Bought a house in southeast London. Rented it out, progressed and bought another property in Epping. Both doing pretty well, both good salaries, this sort of thing. I drank reasonably steadily in my 20s. There was a police club and we used to go there. There was a big drinking culture in the Met then. That's in a lot of jobs really. You know, solicitors, plumbers, train drivers drink, don't they? But marriage wasn't too good, and maybe I used to drink a little bit more because of that. Did a lot of socialising in the West End, and I drink a bit more heavy, I suppose. But I was still doing really well at work, got some promotion, this sort of thing. Wasn't any major issues, no health issues, nothing at all really. But I was aware that I was drinking quite a bit, and I was milking the bank a little bit, so we save for cash. We didn't have any children then, and after we'd been married 10 years before my daughter was born. When my daughter was born, there was even more pressure on the marriage. The marriage was wrong anyway. So I was looking after my daughter quite a lot. Got a bit more tired because it's easy to drink when you can have a great lie-in the next day and recover, shall we say. And I was finding I was getting more tired as time went on with shifts and that sort of thing. The whole of my life was a little bit stressful, as is everybody else's. We all have stresses. I remember being taken into hospital when I was much older, and I'm stressed, and the doctor looked at me and he said, "Do you not think I'm effing stressed?" You know? And I agreed with him, really. I was just drinking too much. That was the problem. But it becomes a habit, and it becomes an addiction. So, in the end, I left the police, obviously, retired, and came back to the northeast. Marriage was terrible by then, but we put money into a business that failed miserably because of my drinking. And then I moved into an apartment I bought in Newcastle years before. I had to rent it out, but I moved into there because that was a good place for me to go on my own. And it was really nicely done out, decent area, spot. I thought that'll do me. I got in there and I was, you're always a bit lonely when you're divorced, aren't you? You know, a bit lonely. But I made new friends or new drinking pals pretty quickly, as you do in a pub. Because you walk to any pub and have a chat with somebody. 10 minutes later, you're the best friend, you're buying drinks, aren't you? So I'm in this pub and I thought, oh, this is quite good local. I could at the time, walk to it. About 15 minutes walk. Spot on, great. Drink myself. I'll go for a drink every day. You know, do a bit here, a bit there. But be sociable, but it was a bit heavy for me, drinking. And I started to get a bit more drinking in the house because I was one of these people who went to bed early, really. I've been used to shift work, and so it sort of messes your sleep up a little bit. And as time went on, I drank more and more and more. And I thought I'm going to have to see the doctor about this because I was feeling really rough. I wasn't eating well. I was a bit rough and just general malaria. A bit like, oh God, I don't know what today's going to bring. And he suggested that I have these pills called diazepam to bring you off the drink. He said, you're drinking far too much. I only told him about half what I was drinking. He went, my God. It was all lager. He said, it doesn't make any difference whether it's lager, spirits, or, or wine. It's all got ethanol in it. I had these diazepam, a 7-day course, and I felt right as rain. I thought, God, this is good. So I had a couple of years off the drink and felt really good. I thought one night I'm going to go out to this quite posh bar, get dressed up and go and see what's going on, as you do. And I had a few bottles of Stella left in the fridge. I don't know why I keep going about Stella, but any strong drink, Peroni would do. And so I'll just have one. I felt so good after 2 years off, And when I drank it, the only way I can describe it, I've never had a drug, as in like an illegal drug, injected in me. I tasted it on my tongue and I unbelievable. And as it went into my body, I felt this huge sense of relaxation and euphoria in a way. There's only one bottle of beer, but if you haven't had any for years, it's a bit like that, you know. And I thought, well, I may as well have another one now, but I'll not have too much because I'm going to go to this place. So I ended up going to this place. I thought I'll have one drink, one pint, and I'll just have shandy, which I did. I thought I had quite a good night there, and I decided to do the same next week, and so it carried on. And I thought, I've got control of this now, I can drink, but I couldn't drink. This is the problem with relapse. So anyway, long story short, I drank more and more and more, had a couple more relapses, and then I thought, I'm going to have to get a grip of this. So in 2006, I decided to give it a really good go, and I was off for 8 years. I felt really good. I was going to the gym a couple of times a day, would you believe? Not massively working out, but just keeping fit. I thought this is going to be my new pub, the gym, and keep healthy, keep fit, have some decent food, fill my day in. You've got to do that if you stop drinking. You've got to have something to fill in the time when you are planning to drinking, or recovering from drink. 8 years has gone by, I'm feeling the best I've ever felt. Going on plenty of holidays, all on my own. I thought if I get involved with somebody, it'll cause me issues. That's just the way I am. 2014 comes along and somebody walks into my life who I got involved with, only for a short time, mind. And I was worried about telling her I drank. So I decided to drink a little bit. And the 8 years were undone with the first drink, to be fair. That was over very quickly. I went back to the doctors. I thought, this is going to be easy. Get some more diazepam, come off it again. For life, come off it. First doctor, no, you're not having it. Refused to give me the diazepam, for whatever reason. However, I went back to another doctor in the hope I'd get the diazepam. Didn't get it. So I panicked now, because I knew I'd have problems trying to stop. I had stopped cold turkey a few times. Well, a couple of times in the past, and had seizures. I was so worried about that again. I would have to have something to keep me off or keep me steady, so I started to drink to self-medicate, if that makes sense. Then I got worse and worse. And the flat I was living in, this became worse and worse. It wasn't getting repaired, it wasn't being cleaned, I wasn't looking after myself. And over the years, next couple of years, I didn't fix anything. The slats on the bed had collapsed. I was living in a bit of a dip in the bed. I'd noticed my stomach, I was starting to get a bit more swollen. And I just thought it was a beer belly. But when I looked at myself closely, I was starting to lose muscle. I didn't know what was going on at the time, to be fair. I was getting older. My face is all drawn. And you can see from some of the posts, I put some before and after pictures on, from 5 years ago to now. And then I wasn't functioning at all well. I wasn't eating anything like that. Not a proper meal. I mean, you know, crisps, nuts, snacks. A little bit from the local Spoons pub or something, a bit of scampi, very little. I'm 6'3" and I went down to 9 stone in the end. So the flat became terrible. I came in one night and I heard this rustling in the cupboard. I thought, what the hell's that? A very quiet block. And I found out the rats in there. That's all I need, you know. I couldn't even deal with a post, I mind rats. I got the rat man out and he said, this would be fine. But you've got to get this fixed, that fixed, and the other fixed. At the time, I was like so ill. I thought, I'm not going to get that fixed. I'm not going to get a builder in here. I can't even get myself out of bed most days, you know. I was at that point when I was drinking too much. And the rats became, well, sort of lived in here, really, to be fair. And that's what I mean about squalor. And the flat was so bad that the floor in the bathroom collapsed and the bath was sunken, so I couldn't use the bath, couldn't use the shower. The boiler then packed in, and I didn't have money to get a new boiler, and I had no heating during the winter of 2018, so it was a bit of a mess, to say the least. All I could do was get up during the day with a few cans of beers, bottles of lager, and get a taxi to the pub. Couldn't walk there anymore. And that was my life. It was a total existence. And I used to come back to the flat and hear the rats, sometimes see them as well. I ended up trying to catch them at one point. The rat people wouldn't come out after lunch. They would always want to be there at 8 o'clock in the morning. I couldn't cope with that. So I actually ended up living with rats. And one night, I was lying in bed feeling really, well, half asleep, half comatose, and I felt the rats walking over me. It's no exaggeration. Rats on your bed. What the F is all that about? That's squalor. Not a lot of mess, just filthy clothes, filthy bedding, filthy everything. I couldn't even change the light bulbs. It was dim light, that's all I had. One dim light, one side light is all I had. One side light. And if I couldn't get on the ladder, I couldn't stand there. I had terrible vertigo because of the drink. Anxiety, horrendous. So, couldn't get washed, as I said. I couldn't do anything. And eventually in 2019, I managed to get to the hospital. But living in squalor, I did that for about a year and a half, 2 years. And my daughter was completely shocked when she came, because she lives in Manchester. I'd met her a few times. She came up to see me a few times, but we'd always gone out. I'd waited outside the flat. I thought, I can't get anybody in here. One day the gas people came to check the meter. I said, oh, you can't come in here. It was really, really bad. You know, you can imagine the floor being collapsed and rat droppings everywhere. It was dangerous, to be fair. So I'd gone from a successful life with plenty of money in the bank, a couple of properties, to living in squalor and hell. All because I drank too much beer, lager, whatever you want to call it. That can happen to you quite easily. If it's happened to me, it can happen to anybody. And you've got to give it a go at getting sober. Cut down getting sober. Because if you don't, you end up worse than me, and that's in a box. It's a harsh warning, that, but it's true. And I've seen many people pass away much younger than me because of this attractively packaged poison, which is alcohol. I hope you benefit from the video. If you know anybody who's struggling, please share it. And please subscribe. There's a lot of very well-informed people on the channel now who comment and things. There's lots of help within this channel itself now. And I'll speak to you all very soon.